Chemistry lecture, but it's a very easy lecture. Sometimes I think that why this lecture is there. Because this has overview, so I really don't know why is it there. But this is a lecture. I have duty, so we have to give it as a lecture. Okay, so probably 3 or 4 questions from this. Okay, we have already sent the questions. Okay. So there are 3 or 4 questions.
You mean in the mid, Doctor, or end? You mean in the mid or the end?
At the end. At the end of the lecture.
No. At the mid of block.
Mid block, I don't know, but this will be the in the EOB. Okay.
Okay.
3 or 4.
Okay, sir.
3 4 questions. I'm telling you, don't do anything without telling.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will recognize. Basically, I can finish it in 4 or 5 lines. This lecture. Basically, what is the heart function? You know that. And what is the energy substrates? And what hearts like? At fetal stage, at infant stage, at adult stage, in disease state, and in ischemic state. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is the lecture about. But we have to overview how the cardiac muscle get the energy, how they get energy from glucose, how they get energy from fatty acids. Mainly, and how they get energy from lactate, and what happens if they get energy from lactate. What is the benefit of glucose, and what is the benefit? What is the hazards of lactate? Okay. F5.
Yeah.
All right. So this function of you all know this. This is just overview that lungs, through the lungs, heart gets oxygen, and there are other nutrients in the blood, which when heart contracts and when it is relaxed, contract and relax, it produces to all over the body. And this is not easy job. Contraction and relaxation. Contraction and relaxation. Contraction and relaxation. It needs energy. So from where this energy comes, from where this energy gets in the heart. Okay? And then it needs calcium handling and membrane potential and a lot of things. So heart, main function of heart is to provide oxygen and the nutrients to the other cells of the body. Okay, so it can use omnivorous means. You know omnipotent? You know what? This is nothing to do with the lecture. I just from the omnivorous, I remember that. Omnipotent. No? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Omnipotent. Okay? Yeah. So omnivorous means Allah can do anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So omnivorous with regard of energy means every energy it can use. It can use every energy. So it can use fatty acids, it can use glucose for energy, it can use lactate for energy, and it can use phosphocreatinine for energy. Phosphocreatinine is a very direct energy, as you will see in the slides. Glucose, how it will give energy? It will go through the glycolysis, whole process, then TCA cycle, Krebs cycle, and the fatty acids. Beta oxidation will give you acetyl-CoA, then Krebs cycle, then oxidative phosphorylation, then you will get ATP. And this phosphocreatinine, it gives you direct ATP. So that is a ready-made source of energy, ready-made source of energy. Anyway, the heart can use all of these forms of energy substrates. What they call energy substrates. Energy substrates. Understand? Energy substrates. Energy substrates are those molecules which can go through the process and to give you ATP. To give you ATP. Why, sir?
By the mouse.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is fatty acid. We have taught you beta oxidation. Beta oxidation. Beta oxidation is what? Beta oxidation is oxidation of fatty acid. Oxidation of fatty acid. What is the oxidation of fatty acids? For example, in one fatty acid there are 16 carbons. For example, there are 16 carbons. First of all, what is the first step of beta oxidation? Beta oxidation first step is activation. Activation of fatty acid. Activation. Activation. What is the activation of fatty acids? Fatty acid is there. If we put acetyl CoA with it, coenzyme A with it, then it will be activated. It will be activated. For example, he is sitting quiet and he is not doing anything. How he will be activated? When he will do like this, then he will be jumping. Huh? So fatty acid is sitting quiet. How it is activated? Coenzyme A is attached with it. Coenzyme A and fatty acid. Fatty acid. This is activation. What is the activation of fatty acid? Coenzyme A is attached with fatty acid. Coenzyme A is attached with fatty acid. Alright? So first is the activation. Then, because it's a very long fatty acid, a very long molecule, it cannot enter into the membrane. So it needs coordinating. It needs coordinating. So first is activation, then transportation. Transportation. First is activation, the second is transportation. Why we need for transportation? As this is a very long distance from the city, so you need car to come here. Okay. Likewise, this fatty acid alone cannot enter into the mitochondrial membrane. Now it's very tricky. Very tricky. Coenzyme A is a very big molecule, bigger than fatty acid. So first of all, at activation, coenzyme A is attached with fatty acid. Coenzyme A is attached with fatty acid. But how? If alone fatty acid cannot get, how coenzyme A will get entered? It's a very bigger than fatty acid. So there is a carnitine. There is a carnitine. We call it carnitine shutter. Carnitine. If you go to pharmacy, you will see this carnitine molecule there. They give to fatty people who want to lose their weight. Who want to lose their weight, they give this carnitine to them. You can find it in pharmacies. Why this? So you will find in this slide. So let's revise a little bit. What is the purpose? Fatty acid should get outside to inside the mitochondrial membrane. Inside the mitochondrial membrane. What is our task? What is our work? Work is that fatty acid should enter into the mitochondrial membrane, inner mitochondrial membrane. Okay. For that purpose, we have to activate it. How we activate it? We put coenzyme A with the fatty acid. This is activated. Now, fatty acid and coenzyme A is a very big molecule. It cannot go inside the mitochondrial membrane. So what happens that this coenzyme A is again removed and carnitine is attached. Carnitine is attached with the fatty acid. Carnitine is attached with the fatty acid. Okay. Now this is the complex which will go into the cell, which will go into the mitochondrial membrane. Okay. So when this will go to the mitochondrial membrane, remember coenzyme A is removed. Coenzyme A is left outside. Coenzyme A is left outside. Okay. Now this carnitine and fatty acid comes in the inner mitochondrial membrane, and again this carnitine will be removed, and inner mitochondrial membrane has its own coenzyme A. Has its own coenzyme A. Where? Here. It has own coenzyme A. Look, coenzyme A. It has its own coenzyme A. So carnitine will be removed. When it will be removed, it will go outside from where we will get it. Carnitine will go outside and fatty acid will again attach with fatty acyl CoA. It will be fatty acyl CoA. So from here we will get oxidation.
Okay.
From here we will get oxidation. So how many points are there?
3 points.
Activation. How we get activation of fatty acid?
Coenzyme A.
Coenzyme A is attached.
Yeah.
Then how transportation? How we get transport? Through the carnitine. Through the carnitine. Coenzyme A is outside, and coenzyme A, carnitine and fatty acid enter in the mitochondrial membrane, and carnitine goes out. Again, its own coenzyme A. This was different coenzyme A than this one. So this coenzyme A is attached with it. Now the oxidation starts. For example, 16 carbon. So this will be called fatty acyl CoA. Fatty acyl CoA. Okay. So now there will be cycles. Whole process. I am not concerned with the steps because I'm not teaching you beta oxidation. So in the beta oxidation, in every cycle, there will be release of acetyl CoA. Acetyl CoA is 2 carbon molecule. How many?
2 carbon molecule.
2 carbon molecule. It means from 16 carbon, how many acetyl CoA can form?
8.
8 acetyl CoA. So every acetyl CoA will go to Krebs cycle. Every acetyl CoA will go to Krebs cycle and will give you how many ATP? 24 ATP. 24 ATP. Okay, this is my purpose to tell you how we get energy from fatty acid. How we get energy from fatty acid. Alright, understand?
Yeah.
So, first of all, fatty acid, we get fatty acid activated, then transported, then oxidation. And through the oxidation, you get ATP. Through the oxidation, you get ATP. How? This acetyl CoA will go to Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle or TCA cycle. And from TCA cycle, you get what? NADH2 or FADH2. So this will go to oxidative phosphorylation. To give you energy. From one NADH2, you get 3 ATP, and from one FADH2, you get 2 ATP. Okay, so this is oxidation. In this oxidation also you get, with the acetyl-CoA, you also get NADH2 and you also get FADH2. So this goes directly to where? To oxidative phosphorylation, and acetyl-CoA goes to TCA cycle. Understand?
Yeah.
How we get energy from fatty acid? Fatty acid is activated. How it is activated? Coenzyme A is attached with it. And then it should be transported in the mitochondria. Coenzyme A is left outside, carnitine is attached with it, and it goes inside. Carnitine is detached, carnitine goes out, and another coenzyme A, which is in the mitochondria, it attaches with it. Then oxidation starts. When the oxidation starts, how it oxidizes? It gives you NADH2, it gives you FADH2 along with acetyl-CoA. Where this acetyl-CoA goes? In the Krebs cycle. From the Krebs cycle, you also get NADH2, FADH2. Where this NADH2, FADH2 goes? Oxidative phosphorylation. From where? What happens there? It gives you 3 ATP and FADH2 gives you 2.
But so you said in each cycle we get 24 ATPs, yes?
From acetyl-CoA. Okay? From acetyl-CoA, when acetyl-CoA goes to the TCA cycle,
Okay.
at the end you get 24. Okay? But from one NADH2 and from one FADH2, no matter from where it is produced, whether it is produced from Krebs cycle, whether it is produced through this process, NADH2 gives you 3 ATP and FADH2 gives you 2 ATP. Okay, so you get this energy fatty acids. This I have told you. You don't have to read all these steps. Okay. The idea is just to tell you that how you get energy from beta oxidation. So just remember 3-4 steps: activation, transportation, and then oxidation. From acetyl-CoA you get energy through the TCA. From FADH2 you get 2 ATP. From NADH2 you get 3 ATP through the oxidative phosphorylation. At the end, what is at the end? Oxidative phosphorylation, where you get ATP. A long process. Okay, and then this is glycolysis. Remember, I don't have to say anything. You get glucose, then it is phosphorylated, and then it is glyceraldehyde and acetone phosphate, and then it is pyruvate, and pyruvate will give you energy. So, no need. It's anaerobic glycolysis. Yes, very much essential for anaerobic glycolysis because it's a life-saving process. How it is life-saving? It's not only heart. When the child borns, when the time of delivery, the vaginal constriction is too much on the head. That for the time being there is hypoxia. So at that time, if the anaerobic glycolysis is not there, the infant will die. So this process rescue the infant. This process. What is this process? This is glucose and then pyruvate. If there is oxygen, then what will happen? Glycolysis will go on.
Yeah.
Pyruvate will get to acetyl-CoA to Krebs cycle.
Okay.
If there is oxygen. But if there is no oxygen, then pyruvate will convert into lactate. Then pyruvate will convert into lactate, and then it will give you 2 ATP. So it will rescue the infant, or it will rescue the ischemic heart. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is again the same thing. Glucose, glycolysis, pyruvic acid, acetyl-CoA to Krebs cycle. And Krebs cycle gives you NADH2, FADH2. NADH2, FADH2 goes where? Oxidative
Phosphorylation.
phosphorylations. How many ATPs NADH2 give?
Three.
3. FADH2, 2. Alright. It's the same. I have already said this. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the ready-made currency. Ready-made currency means you are purchasing the cloth. You are purchasing the cloth. Then you are going to tailor that sew my dress. Okay, he will try. And if you buy the ready one,
Yeah.
there's that difference.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. The tailor will first cut it. Then it will sew it. A whole process. And if you buy from the center point, the brand new ready-made, so that is ready-made. It's just like ready-made. Phosphocreatinine is a ready-made energy. How? You can see phosphocreatinine converts into creatinine and immediately gives you ATP. How it is stored? Then creatinine becomes phosphocreatinine and ATP is used. It is stored here. So when you need immediate energy, phosphocreatinine gives you immediate energy. So this is in the muscles. This is the first line of energy production. This is the first line. I mean, you can use it immediately. From phosphocreatinine, what you will make? Creatinine. Just one step. Phosphocreatinine, you will make creatinine and you will get ATP.
ATP. Okay.
You see here?
Yeah.
And if you don't need the energy, then creatinine will become phosphocreatinine and ATP is used. ATP is stored here.
Okay.
Okay? So this is the storehouse of ATP. Phosphocreatinine is storehouse of ATP. This is oxidative phosphorylation. So I don't need to explain it. We have a whole lecture. Dr. Tariq has given you whole lecture. So it's very simple that NADH2, FADH2 comes here and protons goes out and then protons get enter. One protons gives you one ATP. Okay. So there are 3 ports. 1, 2, 3. NADH2 gets here. 1 ATP here, 1 ATP here, 1 ATP here. FADH2 gives 2 ATP. Why? It missed first one. Okay? It entered into second. So first ATP here, second ATP here. So NADH2 gives you 3 ATP, FADH2 gives you 2 ATP. That is not my subject. So just remember that NADH2 and FADH2 gives us ATP through oxidative phosphorylation. Don't need to read all this. Only remember where the NADH2 goes, oxidative phosphorylation. Where the FADH2 goes, oxidative phosphorylation. What it gives you? NADH2 3 ATP and FADH2 2 ATP. Okay. So this I have already said that contraction needs energy, relaxation needs energy. So heart can use according to the circumstances. Heart can use any substrate available. Well, in developmental stages, what the heart use? What is the nutrition state, fasting state, fed state, and in disease state. So when there is embryo development and fetus development, in that it use mainly glucose. Heart use mainly glucose. So main source of heart energy is glucose when there is a fetus. When there is a fetus development. What is the main source of energy? Glucose.
Okay. From last year.
Glucose. Glucose. All right. When the child is born, then immediately it is switched on fatty acid. Immediately it switched on fatty acids. So it starts using more fatty acids than glucose. It still uses glucose, but it starts more fatty acid consumption, more usage of fatty acid. So what did I say? When it was fetus heart was using more glucose, almost all glucose. And when the child is born, fatty acid starts. So in the first month of the age of the infant, you will see a lot of carnitine enzymes, carnitine in his body. Why? Because it is switching, changing into the fatty acids. First it was glucose, now it is changing to the fatty acids. So that is why in his body a lot of carnitine and related enzymes are found. Okay, adult heart use about 70% fatty acids and about 30% glucose. 30% glucose and 70% fatty acid. Yeah. So no need to say that adult heart, work is increased. There are a lot of work increased. Adult heart increase a lot of work. Exercise and like this and like this. A lot of.
Especially when they felt in love.
Love, huh? Okay. So Valentine Day, huh? Today is Valentine Day, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
You celebrate here?
No.
No?
No.
It's not Islamic, huh?
No, not at all.
Yeah. It is. Don't celebrate it. You can use 1 or 2 SMS. But not more than that. Then it will be un-Islamic. Okay, so adult heart needs a lot of energy. So you can, I forgot to tell you that from one fatty acid you get 131 ATP. From one fatty acid you get 131 ATP. And from one glucose you get 36 ATP. 36 or 38 ATP. Okay. So there is a lot of difference. Who gives you more energy? Fatty acid. 131. One fatty acid gives you 131 ATP, and one glucose gives you 36 ATP. So adult heart is on 70% on fatty acid and 30% on glucose. Okay, that is again the same story. That it's a fatty acid uptaken, esterified. Esterified means activation, then transportation, oxidation. So, yeah, the main thing is that there is one protein which is called PGCA1A. PGCA1A. This is a protein. This is a protein, and this protein binds with the receptors. And then this receptor this PGC1A and receptor, this makes complex receptor. This is a complex. When this complex is made, beta oxidation system is speed up. Beta oxidation system is speed up. It gives you more energy. Beta oxidation is fast. Beta oxidation is fast. Speed up. Okay. So all the system, all the enzymes in it become fast. If this is not there, if this complex is not there, then what happens? Beta oxidation gets slow. Beta oxidation gets slow. So this is the main instrument behind the beta oxidation. This is the main factor behind the beta oxidation. This PGC1A and attached with its receptor complex, this speed up, make fast beta oxidation. Okay, so the beta oxidation will start. Or opposite will happen. Glycolysis will suppressed. Glycolysis will spread. Beta oxidation will speed up. So this complex has control, regulation of the beta oxidation. This complex has regulation or control on the fatty acid oxidation or beta oxidation, and it speed up the beta oxidation. It suppress the glycolysis.
When it's binding, so
When you need energy. When you need energy. For example, you are doing a lot of exercise or you are carrying weight. You are doing exercise or you are doing physical work. You are doing physical work. You need a lot of energy. Then what will happen? Your heart. I'm not talking about all over the other body.
Yeah.
Every organ has its own requirements. Brain has its own requirements. It's solely dependent on the glucose. This brain depends solely on the glucose because fatty acid cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. Okay, I'm talking about heart. Okay, I'm talking about heart. Heart needs a lot of energy. When it needs a lot of energy, a lot of beta oxidation occurs through this complex. Alright? What is the complex? PGC1A. What is this? This is a protein. This is the name of a protein. This binds with the receptor. When it binds with the receptor, it speeds up the beta oxidation. It suppresses the glycolysis. Alright? Now, when this protein binds with the same protein, when this protein binds with these proteins, then it speeds up the glycolysis and it suppresses the fatty acid oxidation. Okay? How it speed up the glycolysis? It increase the pyruvate dehydrogenase and it increase the hexokinase, etc. It's enzymes. It speed up. How the beta oxidation will speed up? The enzymes in the beta oxidation will work more. How the glycolysis will be speed up? The enzymes in the glycolysis will work more. And how the glycolysis will suppress? The enzymes will work less. Okay?
Yes.
So, if this protein binds with the receptors, then it speed up the fatty acid oxidation. And if it binds with these proteins, then it speeds up glycolysis. Okay, in the fasting state, our heart is a very, very generous organ. Very generous. Opposite to the brain. Brain is very selfish. Heart is very generous. In fasting, it uses fatty acids, spares glucose for the brain. Spares glucose for the brain. In fasting state, if we are not we haven't eaten anything, then heart uses only fatty acids. 30% glucose it was using previously, it spares for the other body, especially for the brain. Okay? This cardiac muscle, I don't have to, you have read in physiology that it is a negative potential.
Action potential. Action potential?
We had it. You have read this. For this we need energy. That's what I wanted to show you. And then is the diabetic heart. diabetic heart, for example, you are a healthy man and I'm a diabetic, my heart is solely dependent upon fatty acids. No glucose. No glucose.
Such as fasting?
Such as fasting. I mean, diabetic heart will only use fatty acids. And it is a very, very surprising that it uses fatty acids. It means that beta oxidation, it degrades fatty acids, it's broken down fatty acids, but still fatty acid is deposited in the cells because there is a lot of fatty acids. So it uses for the energy, still it deposits in the cells. So that is why beta in the diabetic there are a lot of problems.
Yeah.
There are heart attacks, atherosclerosis, and angina, and a lot of other things. Okay? Why? Because heart is using fatty acids only, along with its deposition of fatty acids in the cells. Okay, then there is a ischemic heart. What is ischemia? It's a lack of oxygen. Lack of oxygen. When there is a lack of oxygen, what will happen? There will be a very simple lack of oxygen. Then there will be anaerobic glycolysis. What is anaerobic glycolysis? What should be glycolysis? Pyruvate to acetyl-CoA to Krebs cycle. In anaerobic glycolysis, there is a lack of oxygen, deficiency of oxygen. What will happen? Pyruvate will convert into lactate, and lactate will give you energy. So here, production of lactate, accumulation of lactate, and whenever lactate is produced, there are proton production. Lactate plus proton production. This is called proton production. What is the hazard? What is the danger for it? For the production of lactate and proton production. This will create acidosis. So the cell will die due to acidosis. What happens in ischemic heart? There is a deficiency of oxygen. Now, heart has to get the energy. From where it will get the energy? Because there is no oxygen. So, when there is no oxygen, no fatty acid oxidation will occur, no glycolysis will occur, only anaerobic glycolysis will occur. Anaerobic means the lactate will be produced. Rather than pyruvate, there will be lactate production. Along with lactate, there will be proton production. So these two will make acidosis, and the cells will die due to acidosis. Thank you very much. Finished.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.